What is going on? The Bills got it right this week. It scared us a little bit through the flu, through the snow, through the travel arrangements. The Bills got the dub. Sarah made it to the game,
I
kept her
did.
streak alive.
I did.
Got my co-host in the building with me, James Mallory. Mal, what's good, my man?
What's going on? What's going on? Well, let's talk some football. And Sarah, hats off to you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You made
31
it happen.
straight. I had to do it. 31 straight. I got here.
31 straight, and we got to talk about the Bills beating the Cleveland Browns. Run game coming alive, two-headed monster back there this week. Josh Allen, more calm game, and we got to talk about our guy Dawson Knox and much more when we come right back. What is going on, everybody? As we said in the intro, the Bills beat the Cleveland Browns this week. The Detroit Bills beat the Cleveland Browns this week, 31-23. It wasn't as close in the second half as the score indicated. Obviously, Cleveland getting a late touchdown, and obviously, knowing what has happened with us in the past here, may be a little bit scary with the onside kick, but have no fear. We got the ball. The game was over. We took a knee. Victory formation. A couple things happened in this game. First of all, Mal, what's going on, my guy? What's going on, my guy?
Ready to talk some football. I'm happy that Bills Mafia is calm for the moment. We got to win. We're not panicking. So I'm in a good mood. I had to deal with the snow a little bit. It don't bother me as long as my family good, everybody is good. I'm a homebody, so I work from home too. So really, I turned my garage into a gym. So it's kind of just business as usual for me. So I'm happy everybody's safe and healthy though.
Yeah, do really don't leave his house. I mean, he really don't. He's not joking. He if he doesn't got to, he does not leave his house. If it's not for the kids and football, he don't leave his house. He ain't lying. And Sarah,
Sam's Club. Sam's Club.
Sam Club,
Sam's
Sam Club. Hey, listen. If you go that much, man, they can sponsor this show. You know what I mean?
You know what? I can talk to him. I can talk
Wait,
to him.
wait, what? What talk
They
to him?
sponsor UAS, so
It's what talking's what we do best. Sarah, as you said, still in Detroit,
Yeah.
relaxing. A couple
Yeah,
days.
relax. Yeah, I made the mistake and I flew into to Buffalo on Thursday trying to beat the storm. And then about 2 hours after I landed, they announced they were moving the game. So I changed to Saturday, and I was lucky. I was the only flight that made it out to Detroit on Saturday. So the other two were canceled. So I was pretty darn lucky. I'm here. I got to go to the game, kept my streak alive, and I'm staying through Thanksgiving. So, uh, it'll be an easy one this week for me. So just chilling.
That's it. Glad you made it safe. Glad a lot of people made it safe. A lot of Bills fans
Yeah.
made it out of Buffalo just in time to get to this game, carpooling. But big ups to all the fans that went and helped shovel the players out. I know
Yeah.
I saw some people actually complaining about that. Was like, we can't even get. You guys are getting the players. Like, hey, listen, man. Listen. Larry, Joe, and Annie, we get it. You're snowed in like everybody else, but these players had a game to play, and it was important for us. I mean, let's be honest with it. The city of Buffalo, this is the main thing that
Yeah.
we have. Okay, we got to get these guys out of here. Deion Dawkins had to walk what a half a mile in the snow. You know what I mean? Just to get to the car. I mean, come on, stop it, people. Like, don't be Karens and Kens, okay?
Yeah.
They did the right thing. Right? But
Aaron's and
no,
kittens. This new one.
yeah, Karens and Kens. You know, complaining about we let them out of the game, but I'm still snug. Listen, you didn't have to go anywhere. You didn't have to go to work. You didn't have to listen. Just stay your asses at home. Don't worry about it. But no, big ups to everybody who made the travel to Detroit and made this another home game for the Bills. But yeah, let's talk about this game a little bit. You know, the Bills obviously came up on top 31-23. A little bit more efficient game from Josh Allen. Obviously, we can still tell that he's still recovering somewhat from that UCL injury. Good update today. He's out of the wrap. No wrap on that elbow at practice today. So that's a good sign. The running game came alive this game. 172 yards on the ground between Devin Singletary and rookie James Cook and a touchdown. And Dawson Knox. And it's funny because we just talked about this on last show, in the last two shows, about how he needed to come alive. And James, you're saying for $54 million, you need to be that number 2, number 3 option at, definitely for this offense. What did you see from this game, James? I'll come to you first.
Overall, I'm extremely excited about this game. Why? It proved a few things for me. One, Dawson Knox return, to being the tight end that we all know he can be. So Dawson Knox. Two, we won a game where we didn't have to rely on Josh Allen's arm. Everybody been talking about winning a game when running the ball. There you go. When you win a game running the ball is not going to be pretty a lot of times. It's going to be close games. The score going to be closer than what maybe the score may indicate. And, that's what you get. But I looked at a lot of positives. You won an ugly game where, a lot of adversity, with life happening. And let's not forget, people can say, oh, the Buffalo Bills, 99 point, well, the whole roster, none of them are from this area. So these dudes, no matter that they play for the Bills, they're not used to snow. You know what I mean? Like, it may sound good you play for the Bills, but Josh Allen's from California, right? You got,
Stephon's from Maryland.
Yeah, Gabe Davis is from Florida. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these guys is from warm climates. So just because they play for the Buffalo Bills, I mean, they're used to it. So just getting used to just a snowstorm, happen to fly out when it's supposed to be a home game. So you're reprogramming your mind and your body to be able to go on the road and go play a football game, right? Playing with how to start your quarterback of the defense, you start middle linebacker, and then running the ball well like we did and still coming out with a feisty team. And, I mean, they really didn't have to adjust, but the mileage they were traveling, which was shorter. And we took care of business, so I'm very encouraged by that win.
Sarah, you were at the game. You got to see it live. How much of that first quarter, how we started off the game, kind of scared you a little bit?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I actually posted a picture of me drinking my drink. I was like, I'm just going to sit here and drink this nasty drink that I had, this concoction that they were selling at the game. I was like, here we go again. That's kind of where I was, my mindset. I think it was, we had one first down, and that was via penalty all of the first quarter and partly into the second quarter. And it didn't feel like we could stop them on third down. It felt like every third down they're just chipping away at us. So I was very nervous. But all in all, I mean, when we can win a game with Josh Allen throwing less than 200 yards and I was just very, very excited to see Cook and Singletary. I mean, they had 86 yards each, which was kind of perfect. Like, it was literally split right down the middle. Mm-hmm. To have them both, finally get going. It feels good because, we kind of did that last year. Singletary got going towards the end of the season. So that's what we need to see because, we have 3 games coming up after this Detroit game that are going to really depend on, we're going to need to depend on it, especially because it's going to mean the division. So,
one of the things that I noticed from this game, obviously besides, Brissett throwing for 324 yards, and a lot of that was attributed to Amari Cooper's, what he was, a 143, he had a 131, something like that he had. They held Nick Chubb to 14 yards on 9 carries, I believe it was.
I think it was 19 yards.
19 yards on 14 carries.
Yeah.
Sorry. for 2 weeks in a row, I know people were questioning the Bills' run defense after the Packer game, which I said after the Green Bay game, I thought the focus was just solely on we're not gonna let Aaron Rodgers beat us with his arm, and they happily kind of gave up a little bit more to run, and actually being down 3 scores like we talked about, they were down 3 and 4 scores, and they're still running the football. That's fine. That's just gonna help your
Right.
your defense out, and then obviously the Jets game, which I still think was overblown. The Jets had 1 to 2 good drives running the football. It wasn't actually a whole game of just ground and pounding the Bills. I think the defense got a little exhausted because the offense was coming out 3 and outs, getting short fields and things of that such. I think that there should be a renewed focus or renewed positivity towards this Bills defense as far as stopping the run. You had last week an outside of Dalvin Cook's 81-yard run, which we said, hey, a lot of that was on a bad angle by Cam Lewis, who is not a safety, and Tyrell Dotson, who is not Tremaine Edmonds. We found that out now, okay? A lot of that was attributed to he's still outside that 81-yard run, 2.9 yards to carry. And then you come back to Chubb, under 3 yards to carry. You've held 2 of the premier backs in the NFL to literally under 3 yards to carry. So I don't know where the question is anymore for this run defense. I don't.
We held Henry too.
What do we hold Henry at? Under 3 too, right?
I think it was under 3. I think it was 2.9 as well. I mean, he had a terrible game that week. I mean, he was still coming back from his injury, but still.
Except in general, Derrick Henry falls forward for 3.5 yards. Okay, so
right.
Yes, I mean, like I don't think that this question should be a question anymore. This defense is built to stop all type of offenses, in my opinion. Now, obviously, without Tre'Davious White, teams who are got number 1 receivers, that's the only question right now. When Tre'Davious is going to come back and he's going to play, I personally don't think it's going to be this week. I think it's going to be, the week after that. And if he doesn't come back the week after this week here, then at this point in time, I mean, after this Lions game, then he's just being petty. And I know what the deal is with him. He's just being petty at that point in time, in my opinion. He needs to get his ass back on the football field, let bygones be bygones, and get back out there. Point blank, period. But I don't think that the run defense is an issue anymore. Obviously, the pass defense, we have to figure out how to bracket these number 1 receivers. Over the last 2 weeks, between Justin Jefferson and Amari Cooper, I believe it's like something like 356 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns, and like
some of the yards. Yeah, I was just gonna say some of the yards though. I look at Brissett's numbers at the end. Like they weren't.
It's a fluff.
It was, but the fourth quarter they had a couple of drives that were I'd like to just pretend that they didn't happen, especially the garbage time drive at the end, and which was almost not a garbage time drive with that onside kick. But regardless, I just feel like it wasn't as bad as people are alluding to because we held the running game to so little. I think that between Chubb and Hunt, it was under 80 yards total. So I'm completely okay with that. Let Brissett, who's not normally your 300 plus yard quarterback, throw on you a little bit, and we still got the victory. I'm cool with it.
Once again, I think it was similar to the the Packer game. It was a shift. We're focused on stopping Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. As they go, that team goes. Like I said, he got a lot of yards from Amari Cooper in the first half. Second half, we pretty much shut it down. Then he kind of got some fluff yards, I think, at the end. He got the final touchdown, Devontae Peoples-Jones. It's good for the fantasy owners. In the grand scheme of things, it really wasn't that much. But, James, what did you see from the offense and the defense? And then we'll get into this running game because I know that's your topic. I know you're probably chomping at the bit to get at that one.
Offense found a way, period. Don't need to say much else. Find a way to win. They didn't. However it was done, find a way to win. What I don't want to get caught up in, what I can't stand what a lot of fans do, you need to run the ball more. You need to do this more. No, be who you are, period. That's the recipe for success, being who you are. If you stay true to who you are and do it really, really well, you're good. When you start doing things outside of your character, trying to force things, that's when bad things happen. Defensively, man, they balled out. Yeah, we have given up a lot of passing yards the last couple of weeks, but what I'm encouraged is these are physical mistakes. These aren't mental mistakes. You can coach up Dane Jackson on getting your head around quicker and things like that. These dudes aren't blowing assignments, and dudes not just running wide open down the middle of the field. So I'm encouraged with that because those things we've seen these guys make these plays before. It's just a matter of just coaching it up, repetition and practice, and getting back to that. That's all.
Right. So we got to talk about this run game, right? This is something that we've been calling for. Hey, just have a little bit more patience with the run game, be a little bit more committed to it. And I'm with you, James. Stay who you are. You know, we have Josh Allen back there. He's $258 million quarterback. We got a $94 million receiver and Stephon Diggs out there. We're going to throw the football, right?
Yeah.
But what we've all been, I think, everybody on this panel has been saying, just incorporate on a little bit more. Let's just keep that defense on their feet just a little bit more to open the pass more, right? These two boys ran their asses off this week in Devin Singletary and James Cook. Singletary, 18 carries, 86 yards, a TD. James Cook, 11 carries, 86 yards, 7.7 yards to carry for the Rook. And I think we saw in this game why James Cook is here. No disrespect to Devin Singletary. No disrespect to Zach Moss, Matt Breida, or any of those guys who have been in this Bills uniform at running back the last couple of years. Cook is just different. When he hits a lane, it's different. It's very different. And you get to a 30-yard run very quickly. And I'm loving to see how he's more integrated. And our guy Travis Blakely said last week, you're seeing more dedicated drives to Cook. James, what do you see on these running backs? What do you first? It's your topic, man.
They finding out what they're most comfortable with.
Okay.
James Cook is not comfortable running in between the tackles. He doesn't have a really good feel for it because that's just not who he is. The only way you can get better at that is, I've talked about it before, inside run period and drilling it. A lot of times that's just not how some people are. They just not. I mean, if you just look at it, just look how he run. Like we ain't seen a sweep in how long? A toss sweep. How long have we seen the last time we seen one here in Buffalo? Probably, when we ran it, like usually it'd be an oddball one here, one there. That look like it's a legitimate play that we're going to see often here, right? And look how much comfortable he looked when running that sweep, as opposed to if you give him a handoff, he got to run inside. Usually he stutter stepping and no. Get him the ball on the outside, let him find the crease, let him go. Devin Singletary, people do not give him enough credit for running in between the tackles, always falling forward, and him in pass pro. I retweeted something today. Do y'all understand? Our quarterback is not getting messed up because of the running back. There's a lot of teams in this league who running backs cannot pass pro, and their quarterbacks are getting blistered because of it. Stop taking these guys for granted, especially Singletary in the pass pro. That dude can pass block his behind off. Mm-hmm. And we got to quit taking that for granted. But, I mean, I think we might have found a little something. I think we all knew it was there. I think we all were confident. That's why a lot of people have been asking for the running game because we know these guys are very talented. And then also with the running game, Hines, when they find a role for him, it's going to be dangerous. Now, what I want to say as well, sorry if I'm a little long-winded.
It's your topic. Go ahead, bro.
Fans, y'all tripping. Some of y'all fans is tripping. Y'all bugging. This ain't fantasy football. It's not Madden. When you press the power button, the game don't go off and the players on the – these are human beings. So you got to understand, you don't just trade for Hines and just throw him in the mix like, okay, we giving you 10 carries there. It don't work that way. That's why it's training camp. That's why it's OTAs. That's why it's mini camps. It takes a long time to get everybody to mesh and gel and get on the same page, especially in the running game. So expect him to come here and you just giving him 10 carries or 8 carries. That's asking a lot for somebody who don't know the offense. As you see, I've been asking for it for a while now since Andre Roberts. We have a natural returner. If y'all look at him returning the ball, he's a natural returner. Punt return, he's natural. It's not forced like the ugly stuff we seen from Isaiah McKenzie and Stevenson. It was just disgusting at times watching them field punts because not that they're not athletic, it's just not natural. And these punters they have different spins on the ball. It's a whole bunch of different things that goes into it besides getting back there and catching a football. It's a whole lot that goes into it. It's an art. But once they get Hines, find him a role, find him something to do. I'm figuring by week 15-ish, you'll probably start seeing him maybe get five carries a game. Carries. I'm not talking about touches. Carries, and then start putting him in the passing game a little bit more. So just be a little patient. I think the later he gets going, the more dangerous we are because there's less time, less film you have, less opportunity to game plan. So I think that makes us a little more dangerous when you do something like that.
Mm-hmm. Sarah, what are you gonna do when the Bills go running wild on you?
Yeah. So I really was nervous the first quarter looking at Cook. He kind of looked nervous and confused. And I was like, we're week 11 into the season and he's still looking confused out there. Josh was literally pointing like, do this, do this, do that, and it was getting me a little nervous. And they kind of went away from dumping off the ball to him, like those little short passes.
Yeah.
And when they stopped doing that, he changed. Like his whole progression changed. And it was like, okay, I know that I need to go here, get the ball and go. Like, and it was, I don't know. I don't want to like disrespect him by saying they kind of dumbed it down for him, but it was like, let me just get him the ball and let him run with it instead of trying all these little fancy things here and there. And he took off and it was great. And I was just very happy to see him settle in and be comfortable. The one thing I do want to say what James said, and actually Ray made the comment about McCaffrey. I think that there's a difference between when you come into a place and you are a star, like McCaffrey knows he's coming in and everything's going to be run through him, versus Hines, who is coming in and he's going to be very specific in different plays and whatnot. So I think that there's a little bit of a difference because the whole time you were talking, James, I was sitting here going, but McCaffrey's been there for 2 weeks and he's been running like crazy in San Fran.
I got to say this, compensation too. It's business. Yeah. It's business. You don't trade what the boatload they traded McCaffrey for. What we give up for Hines? Somebody that wasn't playing in a 6th round pick or 5th.
Yeah. Fifth.
And a 5th round pick for somebody who instantly made your return game better immediately. With the day he walked in the building, our return game was the best it's been in years. Yeah. And then, but McCaffrey, when you give up, what did they give up? First round?
I forget. It was like a couple seconds. It was a lot. It was like two or three for 2nd round picks, and it was a good amount.
Yeah. So when you do that and you give up those picks, you got to force feed. You got to force it. You know what I mean? So you have to, because how somebody getting fired. Somebody gonna lose their job. Somebody gonna lose their job.
It's kind of the same thing with Hawkinson getting traded. He fit right in, but again, it's something that. It's somebody who was starting, who was a, every down kind of player. And, Hines has been, hasn't been. He's been, he was behind Taylor and everything else. So I just think that there's a difference. But I'm glad that we're seeing. And to be honest with you, with Hines, I don't know if we necessarily brought him over to be that running back. I think that he came over, number one, because, of that preference, presence in the as a running back. But I think he came over for special teams. Absolutely. I honestly think that that's what they were looking at this whole time. So I'm, if they can get him involved a little bit on the offensive side of the ball, hey, great. But we have a lot of other players that we need to start getting involved on offense already. So I don't really care if he does or doesn't. I'd rather have, Shakir and Knox, be getting their touches.
Absolutely. You're both right. So with the McCaffrey thing, if you guys remember when he first got traded, the 49ers had put a package of plays in for him. So it was a couple of practices. I think it was 25 plays they put in that were kind of dumbed down from him until he got the playbook that said, hey, this is what you do. And then a lot of times too, when you get a new player in the system, the quarterback and somebody said, hey, this is what you're running. It's almost like it goes back to backyard football where you're drawing something on your finger on the football saying, hey,
that's exactly what's happening.
You're running this. You know what I mean? But McCaffrey is, obviously he's a running back, so it's a little bit different for him. Obviously Hines is a running back too. But I can tell you guys something I do know is that the Bills' offense is a lot more intricate than what he was coming at from Indianapolis. So Indianapolis' offense on Frank Wright was very, very vanilla, and it's still kind of vanilla, compared to what the Bills run. Like a lot of those route trees that they run in Indianapolis is just basic. Your basic high school, college route tree is not the routes that or the route combination that they run in Buffalo and things as such. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be a learning curve for not only the Bills actually learning what Hines can do in offense and getting used to him, but also for Hines picking up this playbook. And I think that as the weeks go by, we're seeing him on the field more and more. Personally, I'm with you guys. I think that the main thing he here for is to change that return game. That hey, we got this awesome defense that just like in that game, if you have to punt the ball to the Bills from your 18-yard line now, it's a good chance he may take it 20, 28 yards like he did in this game. And now Josh Allen has the ball in field goal range. That's a big difference compared to having a McKenzie or Stevenson or somebody who actually may just muff the punt and not catch the ball at all. So I personally think that's what he's here for. And I think the biggest thing is that he's on a 3-year deal for like $3 million. So let's look at it. The Bills have invested $3.5 million in Matakevich. They invested another $4 million in Saran Neal. They've invested $1 million each year in Taiwan Jones. So they're investing in their return game. And I think in this situation with Nyheim Hines. And as he gets more involved with the offense, back to your point, sir, where Cooks looked a little bit lost. I saw that as well, and I agree with you. And I think that's why Hines is here. In case Cook has those rookie moments towards the end of the year or the playoffs, you have somebody that's kind of built in the same mold of him, but that's a veteran. So you can kind of say, okay, hey, all right, he ain't ready yet this game to put him out. Because remember, Cook is a guy who he only had 230 rush attempts in his entire college career.
Mm-hmm.
That's not that.
I tell people all the time. A lot of people don't look at that. They look at his talent. I'm like, do y'all realize how much he actually played at Georgia? Like running back, like it's a lot he still got to learn. That's why, like, he's not comfortable running between those tackles right now. I don't know if he ever will be that guy. He's the complete opposite of his brother in regards to that.
Right. So it's gonna be interesting. But back to this game, I think that these guys they show toughness, they show grit, and they show, like you said, Singletary was your in the tackle guy and your goal line guy. And hey, you know, no one's talking about it. And we talked about this on the phone earlier, James. Devin Singletary is a very good back inside the 5-yard line. A lot better than people give him credit for it. I think that if we would have been using him instead of Zach the last couple of years, possibly inside the goal line, he probably could have had 10 touchdowns a year if it wasn't for our QB sweep with Josh Allen and the other balls going to Zemo when he was here.
Yeah. And we probably wouldn't have seen a situation where somebody got hip tackled.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And unfortunately, I think Devin Singletary will not be appreciated by people until he's gone. I think he will go to another team. I think he would excel, and then Bills fans would be like when Robert Woods went to the Rams and started balling. They didn't realize what we had here. He didn't do that with the Bills. I think that would be one of them situations. Unfortunately, I hope he don't leave. If he do, he's gonna do well. He got great balance, great feet, strong as heck, make people miss. I don't think people realize how strong he is. That dude's strong as hell.
Oh, very much so. So, like I said, I just think that overall in this game, it was nice to see the Bills, as you said earlier, James, win in a different fashion. Josh Allen only had 197 yards passing. We didn't know where the elbow was. We don't even know what the load management on the elbow was. We do know that they said when the injury happened that there was going to be a load management type of thing as far as how much he could use it. But it was nice to see the run game. It was nice to see that offensive line creating holes and pushing people out the way, because that's the biggest question that I have for this team. When it matters, can we push people off the ball? When we need the 3rd and 1 or the 3rd and 2, can we push people out of the way? That's the biggest question I have. It's not the run defense. It's not the pass defense. I know when Trey White comes back and Poyer gets more integrated, that's not going to be a problem to me. It's this right here. And this game, I mean, they ran us to victory. You got anything, Sarah, to add before we move on?
I mean, no, not anything additional.
Okay. Well, I asked you guys a question before we move on. How much do you think that this success in this run game, as far as against the Browns, how much should we keep integrating the run game into our offensive game plan?
Well, I mean, I definitely think we have to. We still didn't, as much as we ran the ball, we still didn't control the time of possession. So I think at this point, that's what we need to do in order to ensure that, other offenses are staying off the field. And, I think that the run game, takes it all off of Josh's shoulders, which
Right.
when it's on Josh's shoulders, sometimes it's not always what we want to see, because he puts too much of it, on him. And sometimes he gets a little careless with the ball. And I was very happy to see Sunday that we protected the ball. I think that was probably the biggest key to victory, is the fact that we didn't turn it over.
And I'm gonna give you guys a little stat before we move on. The Bills are 13-2 when Devin Singletary gets 15 carries or more in a game. 13-2. If you don't think that's, mind you, they won a lot of games over the last couple of years, so it's a little bit of a biased stat, somewhat. But I do believe that there's a trend there. Devin's a good back, so I root for the guy. It's my guy, and I'm with you, James. I don't think he'll be here next year. I think James Cook, and I think what we're seeing in this late season trend, I think this is showing that James Cook is going to be your starting back next year, and they'll bring in somebody like Daryl Henderson, a Melvin Gordon, one guy who just got cut, a veteran, just to go along with him. But I think this is going to be Cook's backfield next year. I really don't. I do. I'm sorry. I just don't think that the Bills are going to offer Devin what he's going to get in open market. And I'm not saying he's going
No,
to.
I don't. I agree with that. I think that we will probably offer him low and then see what he, can go. He'll give him the chance to go out there and see what he's going to get offered, and if he feels like it's kind of the same or, not, then he can come back. But I feel like we're going to look at the draft again. I really do. I don't think, and unless Cook completely changes, and granted he had a great game, don't get me wrong, I don't think he is RB1. I just don't.
I just the point. I don't think the Bills care. Part of me says they care to have an RB1, but part of me also feels that they care about the money of what they're going to have to allocate to the position. And personally, the way their offense is built with, we're going to throw the ball 35 times a game. I think Cook is the perfect type back for this offense. Just the simple fact that he's a speed back. You can roll him out in the pass game. I don't think that they really want that.
I don't think we can.
Huh?
I think he's proven that we can't do that. I don't think we can roll him out. Every time he has not been good at receiving the ball at all. So I don't like him in the pass game at all. And I think that if we want to back to do that, then Hines should be on the field. I think Cook is proven that he is more right now, more the running back that we need as an off pace to Singletary. I don't know. James probably can talk more to that, but that's just that irk that I have with him lately.
I think receiving is a strength.
It's supposed to be.
It's
supposed to be.
What are we into the season? 10 games?
11. Well, yeah,
games.
11 weeks.
So week 11.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I can tell you right now, this was going on.
Okay.
In his mind is spinning. So check this out. Georgia finished their season in January, right? Mm-hmm. Last year. They won the national championship?
Yes.
Yep.
Finish your season in January. Immediately after, you start training for the draft. You go through the draft process. You go to the combine in February. After that, you take pre-draft visits. You got the draft in April. After that, you go to rookie minicamp. Mm-hmm. After that, you go to OTAs. After that, you go to minicamp. After that, more OTAs. After that, another minicamp. After that, a few more OTAs or minicamp, however they did it. Close it out. 4 weeks training camp. Oh. That dude mind, it ain't get a rest. Like, people don't take that into account. Like, the dude is probably physically and mentally just fatigued. That's why people call it that rookie wall. Like, it's so much going on with him. Like, think about it. All that time I said, he still got to find somewhere to live in a new city. He is adjusting. Like, it's a lot going on there. So I think a lot of it, like what's going on with Gabe Davis right now, a lot of it can be mental. The physical part is there, but I think a lot of it is mental. Just adjusting to it, finding your role, not knowing exactly what's required of you. You obviously it was noted that in mini camps and training camp, he was playing a lot in the slot.
Yeah.
So if you're playing a lot in the slot and now you line up in the backfield, you can mind screw people that way. And then that comes with that comes lack of confidence. And what comes with lack of confidence, y'all? Lack of production. You know, a person that's lacking confidence isn't going to produce the best of their ability. So I think that is a lot going on there. And I think that's why the Bills are sprinkling him in. I think next year he'll take off. I personally would prefer him to be like more of a backup. I would like him to keep that same backfield they got now and roll that out next year. That's me. Will it happen?
I'm with you.
I would love that. But I think it's just a lot going on there, a lot that's required of him. So if he lined up in the slot a lot in training camp, that means he had to learn all the slot concepts and how to play slot, also how to play running back. So you learn 2 new positions on everything I've just named over the last 11 months for that young man. So there's a lot of things going on mentally that probably he's lacking confidence right now. I guarantee you somebody talk to him. Not that he don't think he could play in the NFL, lacking confidence on just overthinking things, right? So I think that kind of plays in a part. I think he's all right.
I just think so I agree with both parts, right? Like I said, I'm kind of disappointed in the way he's played in the pass game because that's what he does naturally. But I'm more encouraged. I'd rather see him do more in the running game. Just for some of it, I keep going back to the fact I think that he's going to be your RB1 next year. I think hell will freeze over before him not being your RB1 next year. I just think that's the route they're headed, and that they'll sign a veteran to go with him in case he hits a wall. But the fact that he's running the ball well, I'm okay with that because the passing game, I'm agree with you, James. I think they may have mind screwed him in the passing game because if he wasn't running these screens in practice, if he wasn't running these timing plays at running back in practice, then these are the things of why it's not clicking right now. So that doesn't worry me because okay, that's what he does naturally. We can get back to that offseason. Just remember how bad Devin Singletary was at catching the ball at the backfield his rookie year. I want you guys to really remember how bad Devin and how unnatural he looked catching the ball at the backfield. He couldn't catch it. It was bad. It was just as bad as watching Marquez Stevenson return punts. Okay, it was bad, but he worked on it. He got it. So I think Cook will be fine there. I don't think he's lacking confidence though. I think he's overthinking the pass game, but the run game, I think the confidence is.
If you overthinking that's confidence.
But the run game would be easier for him though because it's like, listen, you're going here.
Yeah. Well, and that's when they stopped passing him the ball. It was like it clicked for him, and like literally. Right. Second quarter, Josh is just like, go there. And like, he just it started clicking. So I don't know if, again, I think that he's in his head when it comes to the passing game. And maybe it's because he keeps on dropping the passes. But I'm actually happy that, they stopped rolling him out and doing that. And like I said, I feel like his run game picked up after that. So.
Yeah. I mean, and with the good thing we have Nyheim Hines, and that's why I think part 2 when people talk about Nyheim Hines being here, because they wanted to use Cook in that manner and that fashion coming into the season, and it really hasn't clicked the way they wanted to. Now you have Hines. Now you talking about 7-8 weeks down the line with him being in this offense. That's very dangerous come playoff time.
Yeah, I'd like to see him in the slot. I think that it'll be fun if we can get him out in the slot because obviously I don't want to see McKenzie. I love McKenzie, but I'm over McKenzie this season right now. So if we're not going to give Shakir the opportunity to be out there more, then I want Hines out there, especially because again we keep on talking about the whole veteran presence on the field. I think that we miss Beasley. We might not miss Beasley himself, but we miss Beasley the player. We miss what he brought to the team. So if Hines can even bring us half of that guaranteed, okay, I'm going to catch the ball and give 3 to 4 yards down the line and give you another 2 or 3 with yards after the catch, and on third down you can count on me to actually make the grab. I think that's what we're going to need at the end of the season.
A proper safety blanket that's not going to lead Josh into an interception.
Pretty much. Crowder get hurt. That's why he was brought here because they didn't trust McKenzie.
Yeah, well,
on the show when they first signed him. That's why he was here.
$2 million has never been trust money in NFL. Maybe back when Kelly played, But that was a long, long time ago. $2 million is not trust money if you didn't know that, people. That is, hey, we're going to throw you a little something and we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
speaking of that, safety blankets, our $54 million tight end this week. Oh, no, wrong graphic. Actually, so our $54 million tight end, Dawson Knox, this week. He came alive, had a hell of a game, 7 catches, 70 yards. Actually led the team in receiving because the Browns did a pretty good job of taking Stephon Diggs out of this game as much as possible, even though he still had 4 for 48 and a touchdown. This is what we've been looking for from Dawson Knox. Him to come alive, to be that either second guy in a game like this, or definitely the third guy with that type of money. Sarah, I'm going to come to you first. Is he coming alive? That's 2 weeks in a row now where, I'm sorry, between the last 2 weeks, he's had 11 catches for 127 yards. Is this coming alive, getting back to normal? We know he had tragedy strike.
Yeah. To be honest with you, it might have been quietly him coming alive because it was after the game that I was looking at the stat line. I was like, wow, he was 7 for 7, 7 targets, 7 catches. Like I didn't realize it being there. He had one great catch which kind of bailed out Josh at one point during the game, and that's the one catch in my head that I kind of consistently went back to. But for him to finally show up, I mean, I think I had read the other day that it was only the 3rd time this year that he's had more than 5 targets. So I think that we need to get him out there and get him involved. And he definitely we need to trust in those, those targets a little bit more and get him involved. But that's going to be on Dorsey.
Big time on Dorsey. James?
I'm happy that he came alive, man, because we know how gifted this guy is, man. I mean, I don't think none of us beefed about him getting paid that money because we know what he bring. So just seeing him have that game was like, okay, it was like a relief for me because we need him to be that number 3 because obviously McKenzie can't be trusted right now. But we need him to be that consistent number 3. If he can consistently be that number 3, we damn near unstoppable, man.
Right. Once again, go back to Sarah's point. A lot of it comes down to targets. Now, obviously, we know when you go back and you watch the film, especially at a Jets game, Josh has missed him a lot. I don't think anybody is expecting Dawson Knox to come out here and be Travis Kelce. We're not expecting him to be George Kittle. We know there's going to be times where he's going to flash and he's going to show flashes of how athletic he is, how gifted, how talented he is. But we're not asking for the production that you're getting from these top tier guys in Kelce and Waller. But what we are asking, well, we paid him. I mean, like I said,
we're paying him top 5 tight end money. We should expect him to be somewhere around there.
Listen, sometimes in life, inflation's a bitch. Okay. Okay,
I'm a little salty that we re-signed Knox already and I know that the tight end market is up there, but I just feel like we might have did a too preemptive of a strike there.
And everybody on this panel feels the same way right along with you. No, I think we've talked about this multiple times. Listen, I get it. I thought Edmonds should go first. That's my personal opinion. I think James is with me. Listen, they paid him. It is what it is. Okay, I'm pretty sure that had a lot of influence from our franchise quarterback there. And I think Gabe Davis, when that deal comes, if that deal comes, and Gabe has bought a house in Buffalo, I just want to let you guys a little tidbit. He already purchased a home here in Buffalo. When that deal comes, that'll also be influenced possibly by our quarterback. But when we really look at Dawson Knox as the player outside of money, he's tier 2, maybe tier 3 tight, probably tier 2 tight end, I would say, okay? So what I'm looking for is just like the game he had. I'm looking for 5 to 6 catches, give me 60 to 70 yards. And I'm cool. And be consistent in the red zone. Win your matchups in the red zone, and I'm cool. That's what I'm looking for. Now, is that worth $54 million? Nah, $54 million is more like Waller and Kelce money, you know what I mean, as far as production. But I realize as a realist, I'm not going to get that from him. So I'm not even going to expect that. I'm just going to chalk it up to taxes. Okay? I'm going to chalk it up to taxes. But what he brings to the team in the run game too, in the run blocking, because no one ever talks about his run blocking and how good he is. He's the top 5 blocker as tight end. So maybe we threw a couple coins in there for the 8 runs that we give our running backs a game. So maybe we threw a little coin in there for that. But if he can give that effort right there, give me 5 for 60, give me 6 for 70 or 7 for 70 each game, then like I said, do we take McKenzie completely out of this equation of needing him to get those other 6 to 7 safety blanket catches? Because at this point, I think we all realize we're better off just not throwing to him at all, because we don't know what the hell's going to happen.
That's it right there. Because he's had a couple of good catches the last 2 weeks, a couple of really good catches, but then he's also doing some ridiculous stuff. I've watched a couple of videos of just him looking like he's giving up on plays completely. So if you're not going to put forth the effort on every single play, I don't want you out there.
Are we talking about McKenzie?
McKenzie, yeah.
All right. I said this on the show before we even re-signed him. He's not a bad football player, but he's nobody that you can rely on. He's not. He's another, like, that 4th, 5th dude come have a big game here and there. I'm not saying he's a bad football player, because he's not, but he's not a consistent player.
Right.
JT got receipts. How long have I been saying?
Forever.
He's not consistent. And it's frustrating because you see how athletic he is. He's fast. He can make plays. It's like, dude, if you could just do this more often, you probably would be a $10 million player in this league, right? But he's just not. And honestly, I think the Bills are going to cut him after the season. He won't be here next year.
$2 million they saved, so it wouldn't surprise me. And I was
he's gone. If they could right now, he gone. He gone.
I mean, like I said, I'm just thankful that Dawson Knox is waking up. Personally, it was good to see him, and I hope that we continue to give him. I think this is a guy that we need to try to find. We need to make sure he gets his 7 targets a game.
I got one more thing, JT.
Go ahead. What you got?
We should have kept Tavon Austin over him.
Over who?
McKenzie.
I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, that.
I guarantee you, hungry and motivated as Tavon Austin was. Look at his film. If you compare their film from last season, Tavon Austin film and his film, Tavon Austin is the better football player, man.
Well, I mean, I think that's a given, but at the same time, half of Tavon Austin's film is on the injury reserve.
Listen,
I'm just saying, man.
Listen, but McKenzie's barely giving us what dudes on injury reserve is giving us. Shit, we better off.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. Like, again, I'm not.
How many catches he got this year?
I'll look it up. Go ahead, Sarah. I'll look it up. I'll find it.
But I'm just saying, like, the last couple of weeks, he's actually had a couple really good plays. So, it is what it is. I would rather have Shakir out there to see what he can give us.
I agree.
But, and now that we have Hines, I definitely would rather see Hines out there on special teams. But I'm not going to say that Austin he made me nervous. I don't really feel like, and then to be here for, basically 2 months and he got injured. Like, it's kind of one of those things that I just didn't feel like, he was ever going to make an impact on the team, to be honest with you.
The thing is, they set him out. It's not like they set him out. He wanted to practice. They set him out, though.
Oh, well, all I know is that he was injured, and I had talked to a couple of beat reporters about it, that, he was injured until till probably the last week of preseason, and they didn't want to put him in at that point, maybe because he missed so much of camp. I don't know, but
he hurt his hammy. It was his hamstring. He definitely hurt his hammy.
They sent him out for it to rest up because initially he was going to make this team. So why somebody is going to make the team? Why push him through? You want to give him some live reps. Whatever happened, they didn't. He snuck through, put him on the. They did him a favor, let him go a little early. They brought him back on the practice squad. He felt assaulted because he wasn't going to get a fair opportunity. He had to release.
Yeah.
So if we go to McKenzie's stats, I have them here for you. I mean, They're not bad. I mean, like, if you really look at if you guys believe in projections from ESPN and things like that, he's actually probably a little bit ahead of the projection, which 24 receptions, 35 targets, 219 yards. He has 14 first down catches, 14 catches for first down, and three touchdowns. Now for Isaiah McKenzie, those are not bad stats, but for a number 3 receiver, those
Yeah.
are nowhere near being good stats. And like I said, that it always goes back to that problem right there, is that he's not a number 3 receiver, and we have a guy, a number 3 receiver, projected to get 300 or 400 yards receiving. That's not, especially in the offense where we're throwing the ball
I was
sometimes
about to
35
say,
to 40 times.
do you realize what we're saying here? You realize how pathetic that is?
That's bad.
You have
But it's
two averaging not even 3 catches a game in a team that passes the ball a crap load, where our fans are complaining about us passing too much with an elite quarterback. And you can't average 4 catches a game. You average less than 3. That's preposterous.
the problem also becomes is when your number 2 wide receiver is not being consistent enough. So
Right.
if we had, if we had Diggs and Davis both being consistent on a weekly basis, then it wouldn't matter as much that McKenzie, wasn't being consistent. But Davis just hasn't been consistent enough. So it makes it like we have one receiver out there. So we need to figure that number 2 out big time. And number 3, it doesn't matter as much if number 2 shows up.
Yeah,
Right, but,
I look at it a little different
Which
because
Okay.
I look at it 3 and 4 got to come with it. Because if it's easy to take your top 2 guys away. I ain't gonna say easy. Let me rephrase that. It's a lot simpler to take 1 and 2 away, right? If you got some dogs that X and Z, we can game plan to neutralize one of them dudes. Stephon Diggs gonna get his. You're not going to game plan to stop him. So we want to neutralize. Let's neutralize. We can slow this dude down. Let's force 3 and 4 to make the play. Dawson Knox, Isaiah McKenzie, Shakir, whoever the 3 and 4 is, let's make plays. That actually makes them look worse because if our number 2 isn't consistent enough, that means you should step up your game and you should have more catches, right? Or because I'm just saying I'm thinking he should do a lot more than what he has. I'm not down on Gabe Davis as a lot. Not saying none of you two are, but I just think some people had unrealistic expectations for Gabe Davis, in my opinion.
I mean, I think that coming off the 4 touchdown game, people thought that, and I keep saying this, I think a lot of people thought that we had 1A and 1B.
That never was the case.
Gabe Davis is not, he's not, and I'm not saying he's never going to be a number 1. He's not at that point yet. He's a number 2. And when you look at number 2s around the league, he's one of the best number 2 receivers you're going to find in the NFL. There's not
But
too
not
many
consistent.
and
Not
that's
consistently.
But that's why he's number 2 though.
But can you name 15 number 2s better than him right now?
15?
Well, 15's a lot, Jada. That's half the damn league. I mean,
No,
there's like
your
32
number, listen, your number 2 receiver, your number 2 receiver. If y'all want to talk that, let's talk. The number 2 receiver is somebody between 32 and 60. So can you name 15 number 2s better than him?
Okay, so let's just go with the game we just had with the Browns. They have 2 legit. They have Cooper is number 1, and then they have Peoples is number 2. So Peoples Jones. So consistently every week they are. If one has a little bit of an off game, then 2 steps up to 1, and 1 goes down to 2. But they consistently have something. We're going against Detroit on Thursday. They have 2, and now with Shark back, they actually have 3 pretty decent wide receivers. So
Right.
we're gonna have to go through those motions.
I did it. You're not going to find 15 number 2s better than Gabe Davis. You're not.
I just think so. This is the way I look at with Gabe, right? Like I said, I go back to the point people thought it was going to be 1A, 1B. As far as number 2 receiver, he's a top 5 number 2 receiver in the league. Number 2. Because when you really think about it, there's probably about half the league doesn't even have number 2 receiver.
So you proving my point. What I'm saying.
I agree with it, but then I also agree with Sarah that hey, he has not been as consistent as we would like to see.
Had 1 game. He's only had, in my opinion, he's had 1 huge game, and then 1 to 2 that he's proven to be a wide receiver too. The
Okay,
other games,
I'm gonna give him. I see 5. Okay, I see. So you got the Rams 4 for 88, right, and a touchdown first game of the year, and then he sustained
and
the
he was
ankle.
injured. Yeah.
Then he got the ankle injury, so I'll give him a pass for 2 games for the ankle injury, right? So then you come back to Pittsburgh, which was 3 for 171, and obviously like big catches, long gains, but not necessarily an intermediate game, right? Then we come back Kansas City, 3 for 74. It's not a bad game. But then that's when the pedestrian game started. He had 2 very bad games, I think, against Green Bay and the Jets. But then Minnesota, 6 catches for 93. And this game versus Cleveland wasn't bad either, 5 for 68. I think
Yeah, but how many targets did he have? Because I felt like he dropped.
He had 7.
Oh, really? That's it. So he only dropped 2.
And I think that's where we're looking at
Okay.
when we talk about the consistency part.
I'll
It's the
back
drops though, because in some of these games where he had the 60 and 70 yards, out of the 5 targets that he had, he caught 3 of them. But one of those drops came in a key situation, and I think that speaks to your point about the consistency. Like, hey, if you're gonna be this guy and you're gonna ask for this money that you're about to ask for, you have to make those catches.
Yeah.
James, that ball versus the Jets that Josh Allen threw at the end of the game, you have to catch that.
They're in. It's literally there. It's just, it almost feels like it's mechanics, and I shouldn't be speaking on it, but it's the way he looks like he's like smacking the ball. I don't know what he's doing all of a sudden. He just looks like he's trying to catch the ball differently, and it's not working. And he's been making a lot of those drops. And granted, it feels maybe like there are more drops than they are, because I definitely felt like he had more drops the other day.
Like, magnifies it like, dude, it's 3rd down.
Yeah.
Let me ask this: is Gabe Davis still leading the league in catches for first downs?
Man, that's a stat. I don't know if I got time to look that one up. I could. If
Mud Dog around and seeing this Mud Dog, please get that.
If he around, hopefully he around. Like I said, I'm not sure on that one. Like I said, that's a stat. I'm not gonna have time. We ain't gonna be here. I'll find it. I'll find the stat. I ain't gonna have time to find it on air.
And also, just to show how the value. And I know if Gabe Davis hit the market right now, how much do you think he would get, and how quick you think he would get signed?
I think he get about 18 a year.
I think he would get 18,
and I think he'd be signed on midnight.
He wouldn't last the day.
Now, would somebody get the return on the 18 million? I don't know about that. I'm not. Now, mind you, I am not endorsing.
Jacksonville will definitely pay him 18.
Do you think he's better than Allen Robinson?
That's tough. If I would take him over Allen Robinson right now, I'd probably say yeah because of the youth factor. But that's tough.
Season.
Coming into the season, though, Allen Robinson was like everyone. Like I believed he was going to be, a legit number 2, especially in LA. So I feel like and I think Ray just put it. We all thought that Davis was going to be a 1,000-yard receiver coming into the season.
I didn't.
And he's on pace. I think he's on pace to be one though.
I thought he could be, but I didn't. I thought he would probably have around 800 yards because I expected the 3 and the 4s to have better stats, and then Dawson Knox. I took that into account. So I thought he probably would have about 800 yards, but I thought his big impact will come in the playoffs again. That's what I personally thought.
Okay.
Well, I know I projected Josh to have over 4,500 yards. They need to go somewhere. So, if people are, if we don't have Davis catching the ball, I don't see, Diggs having a 2,000-yard season. So, we need to figure it out. That's all.
I'll put it this way.
About 1,500, right? He over 1,000, so he'll probably be around 1,500, right?
Diggs will be around 1,500. Gabe's gonna get 1,000. He's gonna get 1,000.
Where are you at right now?
I believe he's at 693.
Oh yeah, he getting the band.
So he'll get the 1,000, but I'm kind of
a 200-yard game almost. That's why.
Right. I'm still kind of with Sarah on a little bit. We're like, listen, yeah. Like I said, if he hit the market right now because of that stat alone, somebody's gonna drop the bag on him. I'm not saying you're gonna get return on investment.
I think
someone's gonna drop the bag though. You know what I mean? But I think
it depends how you compliment him, though. It depends what you put around him. If you
well,
put a fast receiver on the opposite side of him, he gonna get boogie. You know,
that's the
put
problem though.
another
When people
big dude on the other side, I don't know.
well, that's the problem. When people usually drop bags on you like that, they don't compliment you. You are the compliment. That's that's the problem. You know, like Christian Kirk, there wasn't really a compliment there. He was the compliment. Like, oh, we paying you. Oh, we need you to make this guy better. And that may not be your role. So speaking of the drops, I just looked it up. Gabe actually has 6 drops this year. And 1 in each of the last 4 games. He has a drop.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I think that's more what Sarah was getting at, and I actually agree with her about the consistency part. We need you to make sure you're making all these catches.
Yeah.
What is this, year 3?
Yep.
It's year 3.
Yeah.
You've been putting significant playing time. You've played in big games. You got to catch all these balls, bro. Straight up. That's just what it is. So, but I mean, before we get off here, I mean, any things that you guys kind of want to touch on before we get off? Sarah, you got anything special?
I just think, with the Detroit game coming up, we have to do the same exact stuff we did, this past week. We have to control Williams and, definitely make sure that, and Swift, to be honest with you. But I have Williams on my starting lineup for fantasy. So I had Chubb last week and it screwed me, and I was very happy that it screwed me, though. I was okay with it. So I'm gonna leave Williams in my starting lineup, and I said, hey, let it screw me again. But just more of that, just controlling the run and no turnovers. And I think Josh will be a little bit more willing to kind of get everybody involved on offense this week. I feel like with the win, he's gonna come back out there, and we'll see a little bit more of Josh, the quarterback, and not just Singletary and Cook. Not saying I mind it. I liked the running game, but we all want to see Josh air it out a little bit.
No bandage this week. Speaking of James, before I come to you, I want to say something about this Lions game. It's not necessarily an easy game. They ain't gonna lay down, but I do think the Bills gonna bring it to them. And the reason I think the Bills are gonna bring it to them is, we just played in this stadium 2 weeks in a row. We're familiar. We're comfortable. We got the running game going a little bit. Josh is feeling better than he did 2 weeks ago. Gabe Davis is coming back around. Dawson Knox is getting integrated. The Lions have a lot better offense than people give them credit for, and they don't quit. But at the same time, they're young and they have the absolute worst defense in the NFL. And for that, this Bills team is a Super Bowl caliber team. Nothing against Dan Campbell and the Lions. I actually love watching them and what they do. But the Bills need to go and do what they got to do and knock these dudes off.
They have won 3 in a row. They are playing well. And I had St. Brown on my fantasy as well until I just traded him last week. So I know that this team, I've been paying attention to them. They are an actually decent team on offense. On defense, they have had their struggles, and I think that I think the Bills can go out there and finally get back to where we were the first 6 weeks and, score the way we were the first 6 weeks.
James.
Yeah, I mean, just piggybacking off what y'all talked about, y'all have great views and all that, but I know the Lions play hard, and we all like y'all. They play hard. They're not. You gotta look at them. A lot of people look at them like, oh, they're the Lions. It's not that type of party. You think so? You could be fooled. But what I want to see, though, my main thing is I want to see turnovers. I can't tell you the last time our DBs really created like a big turnover. So I'm looking for some interceptions. I'm looking for turnover opportunities. That's what I want to start to see now as we getting geared up towards the playoffs, getting closer to playoffs. We got to start creating turnovers. So I think if we were able to pick off Jared Goff twice, I think we're going to end up blowing them out real bad. But if we don't create turnovers and we give them an opportunity on third downs, it's going to be closer when need be. But I think we're going to handle business.
And I think they will too. So the biggest thing is this. Listen, the Lions offense, they're electric. And luckily they ain't got Jameson Williams back yet. I can't wait to see when he comes back. And like I said, hats off to Dan Campbell and the job he's done with that team and that franchise of making them to believe in themselves. But at the end of the day, this is the Buffalo Bills. This is the second best, if not the second best offense statistically in NFL. The best offense, I think, in the NFL, period, going against the worst defense in a young team. You get up early, you put your foot on them early, and then you have 3 downs to rush the passer. Once you start doing that and you take those options away from Jared Goff for that run game, complete game, you take the Jamal Williams. I don't know if DeAndre Swift is actually playing this game.
Yes.
But you take those 2 guys out this game in that fashion, this becomes the game that the Buffalo Bills want to play. When they make you one-dimensional, you will not beat this team when you're one-dimensional. Unless it's something catastrophic going on, weather-wise or things like that. But this particular team, you're not going to do it on. So, obviously, we actually moved DeMar Hamlin to free safety. And it's funny because we just talked on the show last week. Jordan Poyer is back to that strong safety role where I said Poyer's good at free safety, but he's the lead at strong. And there's a big difference having him at those 2 separate positions. This team's ready to go. There's no Amari Cooper over there. And I love St. Brown. St. Brown's a hell of a football player. But I'd rather see St. Brown in 10 games rather than I see Justin Jefferson or Amari Cooper. I just want to get Trey back and get away from this string of number 1 receivers that we played. But be careful with the Lions, but go out there and handle your business, plain and simple. That's it. It's not a game that we should lose. I don't think, and no disrespect to the Lions, this is not a game that should be close in my opinion.
It shouldn't be.
So, yeah. Final thoughts, Sarah, before we get off?
Just go Bills, and hopefully everyone has a happy Thanksgiving and enjoys it, and has some good food. I won't be having any good food, so I'll be having some restaurant food.
It's gonna be yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a lot of Bills fans still. There's a lot of Bills fans still out there.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, but Thursday after the game, we have a group of 24 of us going out to a restaurant for like a Friendsgiving type of thing.
What
So
you mean you ain't got no good food?
yeah, but it's at a restaurant. It's not no home cooking. I want some some dressing and some mac and cheese and some I'll be missing I'll be missing all that.
Well, listen, if you gonna keep this streak alive, you're gonna be missing some Thanksgivings over the next 10 years because they're gonna keep this team draw. You know how they draw ratings and they sell tickets in other stadiums.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be on the road a lot during Thanksgiving the next 10 years. So,
yeah, unfortunately. I mean, I enjoy Thanksgiving games. I do. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
But get used to them.
Yeah.
Used to them. As long as Josh is here. Mal, final thoughts, bro.
Bills take care of business. Win by 17 points.
Oh, score prediction. Yeah. I'd say
41-17 was mine.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
What you got, James?
Like that. Let's go 34-17.
34-17? Okay.
Yeah. I'll go 34. So I think that'll take care of business. I'm excited for it. I'll be being greedy during the game, so I can nap about 4 o'clock. After, we'll be done around 4 or so. Take me a quick nap, get up, watch some more football, eat again. But everybody, seriously, have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. And all that other good stuff, and go Bills.
All right, I guess I go. I'll go 38-21. I'm gonna get the Lions 20. I'm gonna give them 21 points in this game. I'm gonna go 38-21. I think Josh actually throws for 300 yards this game. Possibly, actually, you know what? I'm gonna say Josh throws for 4.
Okay.
4.
Yeah.
I'm going 4. I'm going 4 in this one. I'm going 4. The
Wow.
arm is ready. I think that arm is winding that thing up.
I don't think the arm injury was as much of an injury as we all in the media. I think
James
right now
said it.
it's all mental at this point. I don't think his arm was as injured as everyone, made it out to be in the media.
It was sore. Remember we talked about it.
That old McDermott fabricating a little bit, keeping up the old Bill Belichick method, right? Keeping the team on their toes. But no, I think Josh throws for 400 yards. I think he makes this a statement game.
He likes the Thursday night, national games. So we'll see.
Exactly. And like I said, we're at home again. So, yeah, I think Josh throws 38-21. Josh throws for 400 yards. Game that they should win. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. As always, thank you for tuning in. Should be back next week. I'll be at work during the game, but I'll be ducked off in a corner watching the game. You know, I'm always. I told him if you schedule me on the game, you can schedule me all you want. The Bills are playing, that's fine, but there's gonna be a span for 3 hours that I ain't gonna be very productive. So it just is what it is. It's all good. I mean, it's been that way for 30 years plus, and it's gonna continue to be that way. So either way, absolutely, everybody have a great Thanksgiving. We should be back, I think next Tuesday. I think we're good to go again. If Sarah, we'll see where she's at in the world.
I'll be home. I leave on Wednesday to fly into Boston for the Patriots game next Thursday.
I'm thinking about going to that one. If I make the travel up, I'll contact you. I'll link up with you for sure. So I may do that one.
You gotta do the second annual joint show. Remember we did the joint show side by side when you was over here?
Oh, we do gotta do one, but I ain't come back there in the wintertime.
I'm talking about Sarah. If you meet up with Sarah there.
Oh yeah, the joint show there.
Do a special show or something.
That was dope. You know what? We could. I didn't think about that. I thought you were talking about go back to Buffalo. I said, after that snow y'all just got that. My
Good. Hey, listen. The funny thing is, most of it already is melting. Listen, you see my driveway right now? See nothing but the concrete.
Yeah, well, that's good for you, but I can't tell my job for 2 days. Hey, it's almost done melting. I'll be back in like 3 days. So that doesn't really work for me. But no, other than that, everybody have a great Thanksgiving. And as always, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks my co-host, Jace Mallory. Thanks, great Sarah Larson, always coming on. We'll catch you guys next week. And as always, go Bills. Happy Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble.
Go Bills.